Well, we knew that Luis Ortiz, former WBA interim champion, now WBA intercontinental champion, we knew that he was going to be fighting on the undercard of Anthony Joshua versus Eric Molina. We found that out because Matchroom Boxing released a press release with a poster of Anthony Joshua and Eric Molina with Luis Ortiz on that poster, but Luis Ortiz at that point in time did not step into the ring with Malik Scott yet. We saw that atrocity of an event, and I was highly upset. We saw that. Whatever that was, let's just keep that in the past. But Luis Ortiz did get the win over Malik Scott. Now it is official that Luis Ortiz is going to be fighting the UK's David Allen, who is 9-1-1. So talk about throwing him to the wolves. Now his last fight was a loss against Dylan White. The kid's 24 years old. He's had his only notable fights. I mean, he's only had 11 fights. His notable fights are Dylan White in a spirited effort, but basically, he just got outboxed. And then before that, Jason Hearn. We know him from fighting Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. And now I'm just thinking to myself, Eddie Hearn is an excellent promoter. And he's doing some good work for Luis Ortiz. But I kind of feel bad for David Allen because it's like, well, wait a minute. Why isn't he getting that treatment of being, built up like other Eddie Hearn fighters? Is David Allen a matchroom fighter? I don't know. But the fight is official, and it's a shame that this kid, he is a kid, is likely going to get his shit pushed in. Excuse my language. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live with FightView360.com, and I cover every single major fight live. Luis Ortiz, a lot of people are saying Luis Ortiz should have stopped Malik Scott early. He's getting a lot of flack because they said, he shouldn't have went the distance with Malik Scott, especially with Malik Scott flopping all over the place and, all of that. But as far as David Allen is concerned, I'm just still thinking to myself, well, you got to give this kid credit for taking the fight, especially coming off of a loss, taking the fight against what fans feel, or who fans feel is the most feared heavyweight in the business. God bless the kid. God bless the kid. So, looking at his resume, it's just like, man, they throw this poor kid into to the wolves. And in other news, Lucas Brown, WBA, he was supposed to fight Lucas Brown, Australian fighter, was supposed to fight Shannon Briggs for the WBA world title, and then Anthony Joshua versus Klitschko if Anthony Joshua beats Eric Molina for the WBA Super World title in March. Lucas Brown failed the drug test, so he's not going to be fighting for that WBA title, so now Shannon Briggs needs another opponent. So Eddie Hearn sees that easy pickings right there, and in my opinion, Luis Ortiz can beat Shannon Briggs, unless Shannon Briggs works on his conditioning and stamina. But he's in, how old is Shannon Briggs, like 44, 46, something like that? So Eddie Hearn wants Luis Ortiz, former WBA interim champion, versus Shannon Briggs. And it makes perfect sense, unless David Haye decides to step in. But David Haye, we don't know what's going on with that guy. So if Luis Ortiz beats David Allen, we could very well see the WBA order Luis Ortiz versus Shannon Briggs. The heavyweight scene in 2017 is looking really, really, really good. With Deontay Wilder coming back, with Anthony Joshua versus Klitschko, and the winner of that possibly fighting Anthony Joshua. We have to anticipate Tyson Fury's return later in 2017. We got the winner of Joseph Parker versus Andy Ruiz. That's happening on December the 10th. We don't know which route those guys are going to go. We got Alexander Povetkin versus Bermane Stiverne. Both these guys failed drug tests. Bermane Stiverne most recently. Alexander Povetkin has been cleared somewhat, but he's still in the rankings, so I guess you could say he's cleared. And then he has to fight Deontay Wilder. The heavyweight scene is looking really, really nice. people are asking, why won't we see Luis Ortiz versus Anthony Joshua? Because Eddie Hearn is building Luis Ortiz up to be as big as a big enough name to where when he decides to put him against Anthony Joshua, that it's like a super fight. It's a super fight for us hardcore fans. But I see what he's doing in keeping Luis Ortiz, active. I like what he's doing. I like what he's doing with Luis Ortiz. But I have to feel. I feel bad for David Allen, and he's taken the fight. And he's shown that, he's got the warrior mentality, but wasn't this guy not experienced enough to fight for the British title? But now he's experienced to fight Luis Ortiz? This whole situation doesn't make sense. So I'm interested in seeing the fight. I hope that David Allen doesn't, get messed up too bad. And I hope that his career from this fight goes back on the rebuilding and they really build him up, I want to say properly, but him fighting Luis Ortiz is a big fight for him. But it's just like you're coming up from a loss. So it's official. So right now we have on that card Anthony Joshua versus Eric Molina in a fight where I feel Anthony Joshua could get chin checked, just like Dylan White chin checked him. We have Luis Ortiz versus Luis Ortiz versus David Allen. We also have Derek Chisora versus Dylan White. This card is shaping up to be a really nice card, I am TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. All the links to my social media are right down below in the description box. If you're interested in sports, or I understand over in the UK you're not really interested in American football, but there's an app that I'm working with, and it's called FireFan. And what it is right now we're just doing football. But as time goes on, when the time is right, boxing is going to roll out. So all you got to do is go to the description box right down below, register, and it's a free app. All you got to do is, download it. But once it's time to download it, I will let you know. Also, I have a website launching, FightView 360. If you're interested in covering fights, right? If you have a passion for boxing, and if you want to be one of those reporters and one of those people that ask the boxers the right questions, and you want to be in that atmosphere, and you want to go to fights for free, but of course you have to work, so it's not free, please feel free to email me at editor@fightview360.com professionally with your name, location, and a little bit about yourself, and I will be getting back to you. I am TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live with FightView360.com. Please subscribe.